Have you ever asked yourself why your twin flame journey feels so intense, so overwhelming, and at times so painful? Why, despite all the love and soul-deep connection, the path feels more like a storm than a sanctuary? If you're watching this, it's likely because you're craving answers. Your soul is searching for clarity. You're not lost. You're being led. And this message has found you because you're ready to understand what's really happening beneath the surface of your connection. In today's video, we're going to uncover the sacred truth behind your struggles. You'll learn about the 5 powerful initiations every twin flame must walk through before they can truly experience the bliss of union. These aren't random obstacles or punishments. They are purposeful rites of passage, designed to strip away illusion, fear, and ego, and prepare your soul for something far greater than ordinary love. This isn't just a spiritual concept. It's a divine design. By the end of this video, you'll no longer see your pain as a sign of failure, but as proof that you're being forged by sacred fire. You'll begin to understand your journey as an awakening, a preparation, and a calling to become your truest self. These insights will help shift your perspective, ease your heart, and empower your soul with the knowing that reunion isn't just possible, it's already being written. So stay with us. Let your soul remember what it came here to do, and if something in your heart says, "This message is for me," then trust it, because it is. And if you feel this message speaks to your spirit, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel, Spiritual Universe. You are not alone, and we're walking this path together. Initiation 1. The cracking open. There comes a moment on your twin flame journey that marks the true beginning. Not the first meeting, not the spark of connection, but the moment everything you once believed about yourself, your life, and even love itself begins to collapse. This is the first initiation, the cracking open. And let me be clear, this is not a poetic turn of phrase. This is a spiritual law. Before the heart can expand to contain the divine, it must first shatter under the weight of illusion. It is in the breaking that the truth begins to seep in. This experience is raw, visceral, and often terrifying. You may find yourself waking up one day and feeling like a stranger inside your own skin. The roles you've played your entire life, caretaker, achiever, peacemaker, suddenly feel like masks you can no longer wear. The relationships that once brought comfort now feel hollow. Even the dreams you pursued with so much passion may start to fade, losing their grip on your soul. Why is everything unraveling? Because your soul is remembering who you truly are. The divine feminine within you, regardless of gender, is awakening. She doesn't ask for your permission. She doesn't wait for your readiness. She arrives like a tide, both graceful and fierce, washing away everything that is false and inauthentic. Her presence is not meant to punish, but to purify, to restore, to return you to the sacred essence you've long forgotten. She comes to tear down the house built on fear, so she can rebuild the temple founded on truth. And yes, in the process, things fall apart. It may feel like you're losing your mind, losing your grip, even losing your identity. But in reality, you're being freed from the illusions that once imprisoned you. This phase is often marked by unexplained grief. You might sob for no clear reason. You might feel a deep, aching emptiness in your chest that you can't explain. That pain is real. It's the mourning of the version of yourself that can no longer exist in this new chapter. It is the death of who you were so that the truth of who you are can be born. Your ego will resist. It will try to hold on. It will whisper fears of failure, abandonment, and loss. But your soul knows this is the beginning of something holy. Within this unraveling lies a sacred alchemy, a quiet transformation. You are not breaking down, you are breaking through. So let yourself fall. Let yourself cry. Let the identity dissolve. Surrender the need to know why. Trust that this is not the end. It is the seed being split open so it can grow new roots in deeper, richer soil. You are not lost. You are not broken. You are being emptied out so that your soul may finally be filled, not with the noise of the world, but with the whisper of truth. And from the ashes of what was, your true self will rise, radiant, whole, and ready to love in a way you never thought possible. As you sit with the experience of this first initiation, take a moment to honor your own journey. Has your soul ever cracked open in a way you didn't fully understand at the time? Have you felt that quiet ache, the grief of leaving behind a version of yourself that no longer fits who you're becoming? These moments, though painful, are sacred invitations to rise. We'd love to hear about your experience. If this resonates with you, share your reflections in the comments or simply type "I am rising" as a sign of your soul's transformation. Let's continue forward into the next initiation of your awakening. Initiation 2. The mirror phase, seeing your soul through their eyes. The second initiation on the twin flame journey is known as the mirror phase, a pivotal sacred turning point where your twin reflects not just your beauty, but everything within you that still aches to be healed. This is not the kind of mirror that flatters or filters. This is a mirror forged in spiritual fire, one that reveals your deepest truths with unrelenting clarity. Meeting your twin flame is not simply intense. It is soul-altering. It's not just that they see you. It's that, for the first time in your life, you are truly seen. Not the version of you you've carefully presented to the world, not the polished mask you've learned to wear to be accepted or praised, but the raw, vulnerable, and unguarded you. And that level of visibility can feel both electrifying and terrifying. This phase marks the beginning of your soul's true initiation. Your twin flame becomes a sacred mirror, not to judge, but to reveal, not to hurt, but to heal. They reflect back everything you've hidden in the quiet corners of your heart. Suddenly, old wounds you thought were buried rise to the surface. Childhood pain, grief left unspoken, unexpressed anger, and that lingering painful belief that you're somehow not enough. But know this, none of it is happening by accident. This unfolding is by divine design. Your twin is not here to harm you. They are here to awaken you. They reflect both your light and your shadows, not to shame you, but to gently show you what still needs your own love, forgiveness, and understanding. In this stage, you may find yourself reacting. You might feel triggered, defensive, even tempted to retreat or push them away, or perhaps you cling to them, hoping their love will soothe the discomfort. But this sacred mirror doesn't work through denial or avoidance. It asks for truth, and in truth, there is freedom. In truth, there is healing. Many give up during this phase. The emotional intensity can feel overwhelming. The pain feels too sharp. The realizations too raw. But if you're still here, if these words are landing in your heart, it means you are different. You are brave enough to look into the mirror and stay, because something in you knows this fire is not meant to destroy you, but to purify you. This is where your ego begins to crack. The old masks, the false identities, the stories you've clung to, they start to crumble. And in their place rises a deeper question. Who am I without these roles, without the fear, without the armor? And even more courageously, you begin to ask, can I love myself exactly as I am? And the answer is yes. You are not too much. You are not broken. You are simply meeting the parts of you that have been waiting, patiently, to be seen, to be held, to be loved. The mirror does not lie, but it also does not forsake. It stays. Just as your soul has stayed through lifetimes, and just as love, real, divine, unconditional love, will always stay. This is the mirror phase, and it is not your undoing, it is your becoming. Imagine standing in front of a mirror, not one that shows your physical appearance, but one that reflects your soul. Now imagine that mirror taking the shape of another person, your twin flame. Every word they speak, every action they take, somehow stirs something deep inside of you. One day, they pull away slightly, and suddenly, a tidal wave of fear crashes over you. Not because of what they did, but because it touches an old wound of abandonment you've carried since childhood. Maybe it was the way your parent missed one too many school recitals. Maybe it was the quiet ache of growing up feeling invisible. And now, that pain, long buried, is triggered again. Not as punishment, but as an invitation to heal. This is what the mirror phase does. It doesn't just show you who you are now. It reveals who you were when you first learned to protect your heart. Your twin doesn't create the wound, but they illuminate it. And in that sacred illumination, you are given a chance to no longer hide from yourself. The mirror may feel harsh, but its purpose is pure, to guide you back to wholeness, one reflection at a time. Initiation 3. The Sacred Silence, a Divine Turning Point. The third initiation on your twin flame journey is one of the most paradoxical and profound phases. It is the sacred silence. This is not a silence born of emptiness, but one that echoes with purpose. There comes a moment on this path when everything goes quiet. So quiet, it becomes deafening. A pause so vast and still, it feels as though time itself has stopped. This silence isn't random. It is deliberate. It's the divine drawing you into the stillness for a reason far deeper than you might first understand. During this phase, the connection you once felt with your twin flame, so electric, so unshakably real, seems to disappear. The once undeniable bond feels like a distant memory. You reach for signs, for dreams, for synchronicities. You cry out to the universe, hoping for even a whisper of reassurance. But what you are met with is nothing, only silence. And that silence can feel like abandonment. It can feel as if the universe has turned its back on you, like the very force that once opened your heart to love has now closed the door and walked away. The ache of this emptiness is sharp, and the void feels infinite. But hear this truth. The silence is not a punishment. It is not a betrayal. It is a sacred redirection, an invitation back to your own soul. This is the moment where the divine feminine wraps you not in noise or distraction, but in the quiet, womb-like stillness where true rebirth begins. This is where illusions start to crumble, gently, silently. No longer do you chase the external, validation, reciprocation, attention. Instead, you begin to sit with yourself. You surrender to stillness, and in that stillness, something beautiful stirs. You begin to remember. You remember that you were never truly lost. You remember the voice within, the one that's been whispering your truth all along. You rediscover the fire in your spirit, the clarity in your knowing. And in this quiet reconnection, your soul speaks again, stronger this time. Come back, come home. You are not abandoned. You are not unworthy. You are not broken. You are the very love you've been seeking. And it is here, in this sacred silence, that the true inner union begins. Not with your twin flame, but with yourself. This is where you begin to nurture your purpose, embody your truth, and move through life. Not for approval, not to be seen, but because it simply feels right to walk in the light of who you are. And when you reach this place, this anchoring into your own divinity, the universe takes notice. You no longer chase your twin flame. Instead, through the power of alignment, you become the magnet. You attract not from longing, but from wholeness. This is the sacred silence, and in its stillness, you are reborn. Initiation 4. The Divine Reordering, when the universe rearranges itself around you. The fourth initiation on your twin flame journey is the Divine Reordering, a sacred phase where everything begins to shift into alignment, but in ways you never anticipated. This is not the tidy unfolding you once imagined. Instead, it's a quiet, mystical rearrangement, a recalibration of your outer world to reflect the transformation that's already occurred within you. At first, this phase feels like soft magic. The universe begins to speak with more volume and precision. You start seeing 11:11 on clocks, not once, but repeatedly. So often it feels like the universe is tapping you on the shoulder. Songs suddenly echo the words of your soul. Dreams begin to take on the texture of prophecy. Little signs, subtle but undeniable, guide your next steps. You realize you're not walking blind, you're being led. But with the magic comes the unfamiliar. Things that once grounded you begin to dissolve. People you relied on start drifting away. Old friendships lose their relevance. You might find yourself surrounded by soulmates, some who bring comfort, others who bring challenge. These aren't distractions. They're divine appointments. They are not here to replace your twin flame, but to prepare you for them. Each one is a mirror, revealing your strength, polishing your heart, helping you reclaim the sovereignty you forgot you possessed. This is the reordering. The deep inner healing you've cultivated begins to ripple outward, reconfiguring your physical world to match your elevated vibration. But here's the truth. The changes don't always look like blessings. You may be called to walk away from a job that once defined you. You may feel pulled to relocate, start fresh, or even let go of a dream you've clung to for years. It feels like loss, like chaos. But beneath that illusion, it's divine grace unfolding. You're not being punished. You're being prepared because you are no longer the version of you that once fit into those spaces. Your energy has evolved, and now life must rise to meet it. As you surrender to this flow, something beautiful happens. You stop resisting, you stop controlling. You learn to trust the detours, knowing they are rerouting you to something greater. You begin to walk in rhythm with your own energy, and in doing so, everything begins to feel more effortless, more aligned. And your twin flame? Though they may still be physically distant, they feel the shift. They may not consciously understand it, but something within them begins to stir. The fear that once kept them frozen starts to melt. Their soul begins to whisper your name. Your alignment becomes a beacon, calling them home, not through words or effort, but through resonance. This is the divine reordering. And beloved, when you surrender to this sacred flow, you're not just close to reunion, you're standing in the doorway of it. If you've made it this far, it means your soul is awakening to something deeper, and that's no coincidence. You are walking a sacred path, and every step is part of your transformation. Take a moment now to reflect on what phase of the journey you're in. Have you felt the silence? Experienced the reordering? Or perhaps you're just beginning to sense the stirrings of something greater? We'd love to hear your story. Your experiences might be the light someone else needs. If you're not sure what to say, simply type, "I trust the divine reordering," in the comments as your affirmation. Let it be your declaration that you are open, aligned, and ready for what's unfolding. Initiation 5, the embodiment of love. The fifth and final initiation is known as the embodiment, a sacred turning point in the twin flame journey, where everything you've endured, surrendered, and healed finally transforms into something eternal. This is the moment the alchemy completes. Not merely the last step before reunion, but the initiation into your most radiant divine self. You no longer chase love, you are love. You no longer search the sky for signs or ache for answers, because something within you has shifted profoundly. You have come home to yourself. This is the beginning of inner union, the harmonious fusion of your divine masculine and divine feminine energies. It's not about becoming perfect, it's about becoming whole. You move through the world differently now. You no longer act from need or fear, but from presence and peace. Love flows from you not in waves of desperation, but in a steady, grounded current that nourishes everything it touches. You set clear boundaries, not to push others away, but to honor the sacred within. Your truth is no longer sharp or defensive. It is soft, powerful, and healing. You speak with grace, listen with depth, and love with unwavering strength. In this sacred embodiment, you become a vessel for the divine feminine in her purest, most authentic form. Her wisdom dances through your thoughts. Her grace illuminates your path. Her purpose awakens in your heart. You feel called to serve, not out of obligation, but from an overflowing well within. You become a lighthouse for others, those still finding their way through pain, confusion, and longing. Your journey becomes your gift. Your healing becomes your offering, and then, without needing it, something beautiful happens. You release the need for your twin to return. You no longer wait. You no longer ache. And in that space of freedom, the universe performs its miracle. Your twin begins to feel you, not through longing or attachment, but through resonance. They sense your shift, your wholeness, your peace. It's no longer your voice calling out to them, it's your frequency. And in that silent magnetic pull, reunion becomes not a fantasy, but a natural unfolding of divine timing. It is no longer something you hope for. It is something that simply is, because now you are whole, and love always finds its way back to wholeness. If you find yourself lost in the deepest part of the tunnel, where the light feels too far to reach, I invite you, don't turn back. If your heart is aching, and the silence of your nights grows louder than your faith, stay present, stay grounded, stay open. Because even when everything seems still on the surface, know this: beneath that silence, the divine is working miracles in your favor, rearranging the unseen to align with your soul's highest timeline. This isn't punishment. This is preparation. You are not being forgotten. You are being refined. Every tear you've shed, every surrender you've made, every truth you've dared to speak is part of the sacred blueprint that is unfolding within you. You who have dared to love without armor, who have faced yourself without running, know that you were never broken. You were always becoming the one you were destined to meet, becoming the home you've been searching for all along. This journey isn't only about reuniting with your twin flame. It's not just about romance or cosmic partnership. It's about remembering your divine wholeness, your sovereign light. It's about reclaiming the parts of you once gave away in exchange for approval, comfort, or survival. True love doesn't complete you. It reflects the radiance you've resurrected within yourself. The divine feminine stands beside you now, gently, powerfully. She knows the depth of your longing and the weight of your devotion. She's not far away. She's in your breath, in your stillness, in the quiet, knowing that you were born for something greater. She whispers to you now, you are not lost. You are arriving. And when that sacred moment comes, when your soul stretches wide enough to embrace both your pain and your power, you will feel it. Not just reunion, but resurrection. Not just connection, but expansion. You were never merely chasing your twin. You were answering the call to return to yourself, to the love that was never outside of you. So let this be your affirmation. Let this be your awakening. Comment below, I was never lost. I was always coming home. And if this message stirred something deep within you, please like this video, share it with someone who may need this reminder, and don't forget to subscribe. Your journey matters. Your story is sacred, and the next chapter is already waiting for you, brighter, fuller, and more aligned than ever before. This, beloved, is not the end. This is where everything truly begins.